Three. Hello, Graham. How are you?
I'm very well, Nizam. How are you?
I'm fine too, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to interview you.
It's not a problem. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah. So, friends, we have Graham here. He's a subconscious mind retraining consultant with 8 years of experience, and he is also a spirituality and consciousness teacher from the United Kingdom. He's also a proud partner to the AOA in Australia. He has manifested his dream of abundance, prosperity, inner happiness, and total freedom of choice from the inside out using nothing but the greatest connection, which is unconscious initially in us all. Connection and trust in the power of divine with a combined fan base of almost 80,000 people all over the world. Graham has helped heal and support many people from various walks of life, helping them self actualize their true identity as a spiritual being, plus self realizing their own power and manifesting life of their dreams. So his training, like from training psychotherapists, psychologists, and criminologists to supporting satanically, ritually abused people plus victim of narcissistic abuse. His repertoire is vast and second to none. Graham also lifts various wheels of the illusory world system we all live under, that is believed to be real, in order to free ourselves from the prison of the mind we call home. So that's Graham for us. So, Graham, how did this journey started? Please tell me more about you. Like, what all inspired you to explore this human potentials?
Well, it was a great question. Thank you for the introduction, first of all. The question you're asking me there is, initially, we're all born into the world, aren't we? We're all born into the world. We're all born, I believe, with a purpose, with a passion, with a reason for us being here. And my story in particular, I was born just under 3 months early. So I was a premature baby. I was born with cerebral palsy, which is a brain damage condition, a neurological condition, which affects my arms and my legs and my balance and my, various things like that. So I don't actually walk anywhere. I use a wheelchair. I use a scooter. And I believe that my life was given to me for that purpose, to understand that we're not the body. To understand we're not this vehicle, we're not this vessel that we live in. So what are we? What are we? And that's set me off on a journey of understanding that, we're more than just this meat vessel, this skeleton. So what are we? And that was what got me on the path of trying to learn more about myself and learn why we do the things that we do, why we think the way we think. And being in prison in my body was a great experience because it allowed me to use my mind to see the truth, if that makes sense. So having been born that way, that was a great gift for me. And that's the whole reason why I live from my heart today, and the whole reason why I use the power of my mind to manifest and create the things that I'd like to create. Now, I'm not saying for a second that I'm any better or any worse than anybody else. What I am saying is that I've made massive, we'll call them mistakes, but we'll put them in inverted commas because there are no mistakes. But I've been going through very difficult times, very challenging times, very good times, and all of those times serve a purpose, I believe, and they all make us understand that this life is just one experience to experience, and that gave me so much freedom to understand that, because we can attach to thinking, we can attach to thoughts, we can attach to negative experiences, we can attach to positive experiences. Whatever we attach to, we become in that moment. And I realised something with that what's the best thing to do? And it's to understand that all the things that we go through, no matter what they are, perceived good, perceived bad, perceived indifferent, are all there to help us reach our highest potential. And so that's what really got me on the journey of how can I live the life I was born to live with these perceived limits. And I knew that we're all energy, we're all consciousness, and everything is consciousness, and everything has a vibration. So if we can attune to that vibration, then we become a match to it, and therefore we then use energy to manifest it. And we let the universe take over. The universe recognizes frequency, vibration, and energy. And if we're a like match to that energy, then we will manifest what that energy is. So if we're thinking in terms of negativity, we'll experience negativity, we'll feel negativity, and the universe will connect to us and give us more of the same thing, which would be negativity in that instance. So I've learned to not really attach to anything, to any thought whatsoever, just hold a vibration of knowing that all that we go through, everything we experience, is for our highest good. And our ego doesn't like that. My ego certainly didn't like that. And it kicks and screams and throws the toys out the pram and, throws the baby out with the bathwater, has tantrums. And that is the greatest opportunity to realize that you must let the ego go. We must edge the ego out and allow the heart to be our vessel, our experience, our driver, and to not really attach to anything. As long as we're aware that everything we go through is for a purpose and for our highest good, we can relax in that knowledge. And thus, when we do, we get delivered what we want.
Wonderful, wonderful, awesome, very inspiring. And
Thank you.
you offer this 8-week program, right, Graham? So there is
Yes.
different topics mentioned. So here is the first question. You say that in one of the topics listed on your website, you say that reality is not really real. What do you mean by that, Graham?
Right. Okay. This is a very controversial. It's a controversial kind of answer, really. What that means is, in terms of the world that we're born into, we are all born into the world. We're all born into the same system, the same world. Okay, and each world is governed by a system which was already there before we were born. So we were born into it, but our parents were born into it, and their parents were born into it, and their parents were born into it. So what if that system was essentially for our highest good, but an illusion in terms of keeping us in prison in our body, in prison in our mind, in prison in fear, in prison in doubt, in prison in worry and survival, and all these various mechanisms that hold down humanity and hold down the consciousness inside of us and entrap the consciousness. When we're trying to let it out, we're trying to express ourselves as spirit, as source, as oneness to all that is. So why would that be? Why would reality be an illusion? Because unfortunately, there are people and there are systems of power that want to retain power and control. And how do you control 8 billion people? You control them through an illusion. You control them through a piece of sleight of hand. And you control them through perception. You control them through what they perceive to be real. And whatever we perceive to be real is real because we're perceiving it as real. And that is what the illusion is. So if we go deeper with that, the whole illusion of the system is we're born into it, a prison. Essentially, it's a prison for our consciousness. We're born into a debt-based economic slavery system, which keeps people held in servitude. It keeps people held in the need to survive, the will to try and survive, running on a hamster wheel day after day after day, paying the bills, paying the mortgage, paying the rent, whatever. And it keeps us in a state of survival. And if we're in a state of survival, then what's the message that we're giving out to the universe? The message we're giving out vibrationally is, I am in lack. I am in poverty. I am in struggle. I am in a place that most people don't know that they're in because the illusion is an unconscious one. They're not aware that they're in an illusion reality or an illusory reality. And therefore, they continue throughout their whole lives. That's why people go from a job and they stay in the job till 65 years old. They leave and they die because that's what it's designed for us to do. But it's a gift from the universe. If we can become aware that reality is an illusion, then we essentially are freeing ourselves from this prison of reality that's been built for us. It's been built for us in order to keep us enslaved in our heads. And if we are enslaved in our heads, then it doesn't matter what we do, because the vibrational point is I am in lack, I am in servitude, I am in struggle, I am in worry, I am in doubt, I'm in fear, I'm in all of these things that I don't want to be in, and I don't even know that I'm in. And this is why I say that reality is an illusion, because all the systems have an agenda, the media has an agenda, governments, global governments have an agenda, all to keep humanity held in servitude. But this is a great thing. This is the universe's opportunity being given to us to say, right, okay, we've built this opportunity for you to awaken from, to take your power back, to take your consciousness back, to live from your heart, to live from your soul, to live from what you feel. And it's a really difficult thing, because it's a long journey from the head to the heart, you know? It's a short distance, probably 18 inches from the head to the heart, but it is the longest journey, because you have to peel through all the veils of the ego, you have to peel through all the veils of the system, the illusion, the government, and all this stuff that's built for us to believe that we're small and powerless. And we're far from small and powerless. We are literally unlimited consciousness held in a vessel or a vehicle of our body. So why I say reality is an illusion is because it is. It's what we perceive it to be. But if we've been unconsciously hijacked by the universe for our greatest good into a system that's designed to hold us down, and we don't recognize that, then we will never break free. And this is why we have to awaken to break free. And not many people are ready to accept the fact that the world is an illusion. And that's okay, because that's where they are in their journey. That's what the universe wants for them at that moment. So it's all perfect. It's all perfect at all times. So there's nothing wrong. Nothing's broken. Nothing needs to be changed or fixed or anything like that. It just is what it is. But all we're asking for is the universal timing to bless us with the awareness that as long as we're aware that we're in a system that is an illusion, we can break free at any moment. We can change our point of attraction, and therefore we can manifest our dream life. We can live from our soul, our heart, our truth, and our feelings. And I'm a person who, I'm very lucky to live the life I live. I don't have, all I'll say is that nothing is wrong and nothing is right. The gift of life we've been given is the gift, and it's up to us what we do with that. And it can only happen and before our greatest good, when our awareness becomes activated, so we can understand that we are all living in an illusion in terms of the system, an illusion in terms of we're living someone else's life. Our mums, our dads have taught us what they've taught us. We've took all that on as our truth, and therefore we then live someone else's life, essentially. We're taught in school, we're taught in colleges and universities, we're taught in social circles, our friends, our family. We're always learning from other people. And because the subconscious is so receptive, we become what we've learned, whether we like it or whether we don't like it. And it's that illusion that, holds us suppressed in living a life we don't love. And that's what I try to change with what I do. And therefore, this is why I say it's all an illusion, because it is. It's all an illusion, the whole thing.
Wonderful. And you talk about how to eliminate this poisonous self-sabotage. So, what is this self-sabotaging? How is it impacting people, and how is it blocking people from living their desired life, Graham?
Well, in my view, it's only my view, self-sabotage is a really powerful thing, and it comes from within. It comes from the things that we've learned. It comes from our paradigm. It comes from, I'll give you an example of self-sabotage. I could say, because I'm born disabled, I can't do what you can do.
Okay.
So that is a faulty belief, because it's not true. I can do anything that I want to do. I can adapt and I can overcome. I can achieve anything that I want to achieve, because I choose to feel that I can do that. But if we have self-sabotage, the voice in our head, our ego mind, it chats away, chat all the time. And what it's chatting, we haven't put there. We haven't put that there. That has been planted there by our upbringing, by our friends, family, mum and dad, school, whatever it is that we've learned, what we've experienced, it's been put there. And therefore, the sabotage is doubt. It's I can't. It's I'm not good enough. It's how can I possibly, all these negatively affirmed statements that are poison. And that's hence why I say it's a poisonous sabotage, because it is. It's we're drinking from a bottle of poison that we haven't ordered, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So our mind is the saboteur, our mind. And the whole issue with humanity is they believe that they're the mind. Everyone believes that they're their mind. And that is the biggest self-sabotage, because the mind is just a collection of experiences that we've all had. That's all it is. Oh, someone's car alarm's going off. I do apologise.
That's fine.
But it's yeah. But it's we are all essentially sabotaging ourselves unknowingly, unwittingly.
Yeah.
Okay, Nizam. So I mean, the mind itself is the biggest saboteur of the human race. The mind is not a bad thing. The mind is not a negative thing. It is hardwired for survival, and that's the problem. If there is a problem, that's the problem, because of the nature of the mind. If it's wired that way, then it's going to be the initial way it works is it's going to draw on files that come from a sabotaging type of nature, because the mind and the ego has to survive. The ego itself is an illusion, and it's fighting for survival for no real reason. And believe me, on my journey, my ego has been so monumental that it has sabotaged literally everything in my life, literally. And this is why I can sit and say these things, because I'm no better than anybody else. I can sit and say, yes, I've had lemons in my life, a lot of lemons, and they were very sour and very painful lemons. And they've sabotaged everything that I've ever gone through. And that's great, because it gives me that awareness that, without that, I would never have known. I would never have become aware that my mind was my greatest saboteur. And that's what we see in humanity. We see most of the human race, without judging or trying not to judge, we see them following their minds. And this is why we have the television, the media, the various forms of media, like the newspapers and stuff, so that they can help program our mind to sabotage itself, and we don't need any help with that, because the mind does that all on its own. But if they can exacerbate the sabotage, then they hold people in complete servitude to sabotage. So the mind itself is holding everybody back in terms of sabotaging. And it's doing that for a very powerful reason, to allow us to make a choice, to say, do I want to live this way? Why am I not getting the results that I want? Why am I in survival? Why am I failing and frustrating? Why am I allowing my thoughts to dictate my reality? And that's what sabotage really is. It's just your mind doing what it does. And when we doubt we can do something, when we doubt we can, we've all done it. I certainly have. On my journey, I've doubted an awful lot. But the miracle of it is that it's only there to give us a choice, to present us with a choice, and that's to say, right, am I going to become more aware? Am I going to allow my mind to do this to me? Am I going to allow my ego to dictate my life? And the answer categorically should be, when we become aware, no. And that's when we can realize the mind is lying to us. And it essentially is. It's lying to us. And once we become aware of that, we can then dictate and control our mind to fulfill what we want to achieve. And the ego will still be there, regardless of how good we get. It will still be there in the background, And I think we have to love ourselves. We have to love our mind. We have to love our ego into submission, into submission. Because if we're always fighting it, you don't fight fire with fire, because you get burned, And that's what the ego does. It burns us, but it burns us for a reason, to become aware that that's happening, so that we can fix it. Because if we don't have the awareness, we can't fix it. So that's why sabotage is a great gift. It's poison, but it's a great gift as well.
Wonderful. Awesome. And next one is you always say that most of the people, like mind retraining coaches, what they are doing is wrong. And how unique? Because I'm straight away asking about manifest your dream life subconscious mind retraining program. What is the uniqueness of this program? How is it different from other training programs, Glenn?
Excuse me. The difference is mainly, Nizam, is that it discusses the two worlds. There are actually two worlds that we live in.
Okay.
One is the internal world that we live in, inside of ourselves, inside of our minds. But it also discusses that the outside world and the system of governance and control is also an illusion, because we don't address the two worlds, and most people are not aware that the outside world or the system is an illusion. So if they're not aware of that, then no matter what they do in terms of themselves will ever be enough, because they'll always be dictated to by the system or some constraint that the system has taught them that they can't do. And in reality, there is nothing that you can't do, and there is nothing holding you back. The whole thing is an illusion. This world inside and the world on the outside. And what I mean by illusion is this. I don't mean that it's not real, because what we feel is very real. What we feel, what we believe, what we think, what we do, how we act, how we talk, all very real things, very real things. But the root of where they're coming from is the illusion. That's what I'm trying to say. And that I get confused with that sometimes, because some people can struggle to understand it, and then I struggle to explain it. So essentially, there's two worlds that are an illusion, and that's what makes the difference. Because if you don't know the system is an illusion, then at some point you will fall foul of the system illusion, regardless of how much control you have over yourself and how much control you have over your own thinking and your own mind and your own subconscious and your own ego. That's irrelevant, because at some point the world will say you can't do that. And if you believe you can't do that, then it doesn't matter what you've done in yourself, in this world, inside of us, because that world on the outside will be dictating through an illusion that you can't do something. And ultimately, because it's believed to be an authoritative system with power and authority, when in fact, in reality, there is no authority and power outside of you at all, then that's why. So that's what makes it different. We go deep into that in, I think it's week 4 of the course. So yeah, it's something that you'd probably enjoy, actually, Nizam. But it explains everything, how the system actually works, how the world really works, how the world's run, how everybody has been essentially collateralized and enslaved to a fictitious debt-based system, and how it all really works in terms of what our real identity is, who we really are, what our real name is, how the systems, say policing and courts and governments, get control or jurisdiction over the vessel, the body that we have, why they do that, the knock-on effects of that, and how we can break free of that to see it's all actually lies, because there is no authority. The only authority we have is the authority over ourselves, and that is it, because we're the only person here. The system doesn't actually exist. It's just a pigment of the mind. And the 5 senses, like the eyes and stuff, they see it. Because they see it, they think it's real. Because they've been taught it, they think it's real. Because they hear it, they think it's real. Yeah. So the 5 senses are a real powerful part of this. Because as a spiritual being with unlimited consciousness, which we all are, then we can obviously understand that why would they want to keep us in this 5 sense-based frequency? And it's again for that reason, to help us become aware that it's all an illusion, the inside world and the outside world. But it's only an illusion, as I said before, for our highest good. Our feelings are real, our thoughts are real. But then we've got to investigate, well, where did those feelings come from? Where did those thoughts come from? Why am I thinking that? What happened in my life to think that? And could I think or feel something different? And what would happen if I did that? Would things change? Would I feel different? Would I feel better? Would I increase my vibration? Would I feel happier? And if so, the answer is, if you do, then it proves that thoughts are liars. Because we can train ourselves to think whatever we like, you know? So it delves really deep in the two worlds, the inner world and the outer world. That's the difference.
Wow. And apart from this 8-week program, what are the different types of programs, coaching sessions? Like what all the various services are available, Graham, from you?
From myself, you get a 12-month course. After the initial 8-week one, I'll offer all the clients that I work with or will build to work with an offer of 12 months of support in order to take manifestation to a new level, to retrain the subconscious to a new level, to understand themselves as a person. I think that's very important, because you can't really manifest anything without understanding why you do what you do, and what are the reasons for your behavior. My behavior is not perfect. Believe me, it's far from perfect, because I'm a human being. But I have to try and assess why I do the things that I do in order to change the results that I'm getting. And for me, there's been some very powerful people come into my life to teach me these things. Very, very powerful people who I've got enormous gratitude, respect, and love for. Because without those people, I wouldn't be who I am today. It's as simple as that. It really is. So the offer that I present to anybody, should they want to accept it, and that's entirely their choice, is you can offer 12 months of support with me, or you can just do the 8-week course. It's entirely what you want to do. Ultimately, you'll leave the course with a retrained unconscious. You'll leave the course in an awakened state to not only your own power, but the illusions, the world, the system. You'll be able to be freer in thought, freer in feelings, freer in choice. And I think the most important thing in all of that, really, is just raising the vibration of each individual heart. I think it's really important to do that, because the way the world is right now is we're at a crossroads of consciousness. We're at a crossroads. It's time to choose. Is it going to be awakening, to wake up to who you really are? Or is it going to be, carry on the hamster wheel, carry on doing what you've always done, thinking what you've always thought? I mean, I could give you many examples of how we do. We think things that we've thought before, say 2 years ago, 5 years ago. We repeat the same patterns. And that is the hamster wheel of the mind, and the hamster wheel of our paradigm that's just simply repeating itself. And this is why history repeats itself, because consciousness is not evolved, or is evolving now, but wasn't evolved a few years ago, for example. So things repeat. And this is why history repeats. This is why we repeat. This is why we think the same things, do the same things, because of that reason.
Okay, wonderful. So thank you very much, Graham. It's been like my long wait. It was worth it finally. I manifested interview with you.
You
So
did?
it was,
Brilliant,
yes,
you did.
yes. And
Thank you.
friends, whoever is interested to know more about Graham's program, what I'm going to do is below the YouTube description, I'm making the website details available, and you can reach out to Graham over Facebook as well. So I'll be providing social media link, and so whatever, like personal coaching or training whatsoever, is reach out to Graham, and I'm going to provide all the required details below the interview. So just make your journey better by reaching out to experts. That is the reason this interview series are going on, Graham. I want people to know that there are experts available across the world. You are not alone. You have help. Please make use of it.
Okay. Bear me a second, Liz. I'm about a technical problem. I do apologise. If you bear with me a moment, we're just coming through the audio on the car. I'll give you the thumbs up very shortly.
Yeah.
But thank you for sharing the link. I do appreciate that. The link that's really good. It's going to help a lot of people. I mean, this is not all about me. This is not about me at all. This is about helping people help themselves, essentially. I mean, I say to everybody, I can't help nobody. I genuinely can't help anybody. But yet, fortunately, sometimes I get the credit for that, but I can't help anyone. They have to help themselves, and they have to be in a state of empowerment to help themselves. And I'm just going through a similar thing, in terms of becoming aware of that empowerment, in terms of helping myself, because there's only you on the planet, there's only me on the planet, there's only whomever we're discussing on the planet, there's only that person. They see things through their own perceptions, they see things through their own perspectives, they see the same thing. So we could be looking at the same thing. They would see the same thing very differently. So it shows that we only are seeing whatever we're seeing through our own lens, through our own veil, and that's the exciting thing, because you can't help anybody. They are doing it all to themselves. I did it all to myself. I held myself in such poverty, such pain, such emotional, awful, awful feelings for so long. But I was doing it all to myself. I was just not aware that I was doing it to myself because I wasn't conscious. And when I woke up to consciousness, well, everything changed. And luckily since then, life's been very, very good. And it's amazing right now, I can tell you. Yeah, amazing things have occurred. Dreams have manifested, and life is good. It really is. And that's all I think we can all ask for, is the feeling of happiness and joy, waking up in the morning and knowing that you've done a great job and feeling good and having a spring in your step and wanting to live life, wanting to better yourself, wanting to empower yourself, wanting to make the world a better place. I do that for our children, the future of our children. And that's why I do what I do. It's all about them, because we need to create leaders. We don't need any more followers. We don't need any people now who are going to, exacerbate the same problem. And that's why the universe is doing it all for us. We're actually not doing it at all. The universe is doing it, because the universe and Earth raises its vibration, or naturally in cycles of time. So all the things we're talking about in this interview actually are not fully true, because I'm not doing all of it. The universe is coming through me, and thus me fixing me. And the universe is coming through you and all the amazing work you do to help your students and your clients. That's all been done through the universe too. You're just a vehicle that's on the same wavelength as it, and that allows you to be able to be that support for yourself and your clients. So we're all doing a great job, but we're not all taking the credit, because the universe must have a lot of that credit because it's pulling the strings, you see. So it's a real gift. It's a real gift to be alive. It really is. And it's this understanding and having the awareness that I'm blessed to have on a personal level. It makes me emotional. I've got a big heart. I've got a big heart, very much like yourself. And I believe that the world needs that more than ever.
Yes.
The world needs people to not be afraid of what they are. To not be afraid to share their feelings, to share their thoughts, to share their heart, to cry, to be what they are. And I always refer to children as a great example of that. If you go in a supermarket or a store, you'll probably see the little child dressed up as Superman, or the little girl dressed up as like Elsa from Frozen. She'll be walking around the store in a fancy dress. Why? Because they don't have that filter of fear. They haven't learned it yet. Okay, so they just literally live from their heart. They do what they want. They dress up as Superman and they walk around the shop, and they're in their own world, pretending to be Superman, pretending to be, whoever, because they don't have the fear of judgment. They don't have the fear of what other people will think. They don't need to please other people. They don't live in a state of sabotage. They live in a state of whom they really are. And that's what the universe, I believe, is bringing to and for all of us. It's giving us that ability to remove the limits, to remove the learned limits that we've all learned on this journey called life. And when we do that, we are literally aligned with the universe. And in doing that, we will manifest exactly what is meant for us.
Wow, wonderful. It was lovely talking to you, Graham, and your messages touch my heart And I'm sure many people will get benefited from this message from you. And let's make
I
this
hope so.
world
Thank
a
you.
better place to live. Thank you once again.
Absolutely, Nizam. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Bye, Graham.